youngest.
Tennis legend Boris Becker was the centre of attention recently for a group of children who had the opportunity of taking part in a clinic with a 3-time Wimbledon champion in London. The 36-year-old German was in England to take part in a challenge tournament against other veterans such as John McEnroe and Mats Wilander, but took time off to participate as an ambassador in the city tennis program, which involves 25,000 children. 9-year-old Charlie Hunt was one of them. Becker, the youngest Wimbledon champion in 1985 at the age of 17 years and 7 months, hoped that his participation in the program would help to make tennis more appealing for a generation who is more attracted to soccer. 11-year-old Cija Kavanda thought it was a dream come true. The only unseeded player to have won Wimbledon, Becker made $24.9 million in prize money in a 16-year playing career and won 49 singles titles and 15 doubles titles. Now he's not only entertaining, but also trying to help children with some precious advice. British tennis governing body, the Lawn Tennis Association, has invested almost $1 million in the program so far. It has been in operation for 3 years and is intended to find new talent and promote regeneration in the poorest areas of London. And Boris Becker seems to be the perfect role model to help to increase the popularity of the sport that was so vital to his success.
Come here.
Meanwhile, every day in the UK, 5 young people under the age of 21 are diagnosed with cancer. So a British charity group, Sargent Cancer Care for Children, thought up a novel fundraiser to kick off the UK's Children's Cancer Month, aimed to break the world record for simultaneous singing. The group, whose main aim is to help children with cancer and their families, hope to raise around $165,000 during the world's biggest sing. And the children of Park Walk Primary School in West London were more than willing to help out. The idea behind the event was to get children like these in thousands of schools across the United Kingdom to sing at precisely the same time of day. These children have been practicing hard and were determined to break the record. Last year, in a similar exercise, the group managed to get 83,637 children singing together. Fundraising brought in over $65,000. However, this year the aim was higher: 1 million singers, over 1,000 schools. Through the efforts of school children like these around Britain, Sargent Cancer Care hopes to offer better support for young cancer patients to help them get through the trauma of the disease.
A British husband and wife team who make natural skincare products from home look like giving larger skincare companies a run for their money. Comfort and joy is the very essence of a successful home business. Based in the tranquil Gloucestershire countryside, the family-run beauty and skincare company specialises in producing 100% natural and organic products. In the decade since its launch, the company has extended its range to around 40 products, from bubble bath to eyeshadow, which costs between $7 and $30. Mary Myers first started making natural skincare remedies as a way of trying to deal with her own problem skin. Word spread through her family, friends, and then through her village. Before she knew it, she was making washes and creams for everyone she knew. It was only when people came back for more that she realised the business potential in her hobby. Today, Comfort and Joy has a 70% repeat sales rate. Mary Myers has extensive plans to expand into Europe over the coming 5 years and is working on diversifying her colour range in order to sell across the world, bringing comfort and joy to all.
Over in Mali, Sablebugu is one of the poorest neighbourhoods in the country's capital, Bamako. Here, a group of widows produce a traditional fabric that is the pride of Mali, known as bogolan. Funi Muso Sakaliba was the woman who had the idea of setting up a bogolan workshop. When her husband died 18 years ago, she was driven by necessity. She had to feed her family without him. When more and more women in the same situation got involved, she founded the Association of Widows and Orphans in Bamako. Together, these women saved up enough money to start producing the fabrics. The doors to Funimoso's workshop are open to anyone in the association who wants to learn a traditional art form that they can make a living from. On top of that, they employ 15 full-time workers. Making a bogolan fabric is complex and time-consuming. The process of weaving cotton into strips of cloth is usually the men's job, and the strips are then sewn together to produce a length of fabric. The women held the recipes for the dye used to add colour. There are 3 main ingredients: galana and shangara leaves and the bark of the pegu tree, all local plants. So that the yellows, reds and browns reveal their full splendour, the fabrics need to be put out into the sun to dry for several hours. When the colours are set, mud from the riverbed is painted on in geometric shapes. When the dried mud is removed, the shapes remain, usually coloured black or brown. However, these women have learned how to make white shapes as well, a popular seller. The bogolan has enjoyed a renaissance in the last few years thanks to the Malian artists and designers. Riding on the wave of its success, simpler versions of the traditional motif are now on sale all over the capital. But the goods these women make are available in the shop that the widows built in their association's compound. The women of Sablebugu continue to see their future in the old traditions of the bogolan, passing on knowledge from the past and making it work for them in the present.
A gigantic aquarium the size of an average house is the new home to some 2,600 tropical fish living in Berlin in Germany, and it's clearly a case of, are they watching us or are we watching them? Aquarium enthusiasts have been flocking to Berlin's Dom Aquarie aquarium to experience a bizarre ride into the depths of a cylindrical aquarium planted in the centre of a hotel atrium. The 16-metre high aquarium is filled with 1 million litres of salt water and surrounds a double-decker elevator which allows passengers to look at some 100 different types of fish that were imported from England. Architect Michael Jessing is the creator of this novel display and has taken everything into account in plans for his design. With security issues a top priority on most people's minds these days, and visions of exploding fish tanks proving popular sequences in a number of Hollywood films, he and the creative minds behind the construction of the tank have been quick to put people's worries at rest. Germany's strict security controls have been adhered to in all aspects, and the tank has been designed so that it cannot burst even in the event of sabotage. Even a single bullet's effect has been thoroughly analysed, with a Hollywood-style worst-case scenario being ruled out, which leaves the people visiting completely free to enjoy the experience. And divers are employed to ensure that the fish never have to go hungry, feeding them daily, creating yet another colourful spectacle for the people riding the elevator, as well as those outside. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. A bonus for Michael is the well-timed release of the popular children's movie Finding Nemo. He has found that since the movie opened, the aquarium has seen plenty of extra visitors, especially children, all wanting to find out whether this aquarium has its very own Nemo inside. Dom Aquarie is located inside the SAS Radisson Hotel, and visitors pay $16.23 US to ride the elevator.
Back in England, as anywhere else, trying to sell a car can be a time-consuming business. But a driver from Monmouth thinks he's got the ultimate motor to catch the eye of prospective buyers. That's because he's covered his car in leopard-style fur. But it's not just any car, it's a Mini, and it seems people just can't take their hands off this Catmobile. The 1981 Mini, called a Ferrari, has been transformed by its owner to look like a leopard with plenty of extras, some a little on the wild side, like growling sound effects. Prospective buyers might find the asking price a little frightening though. The Mini stands at around $43,000, a beast of a bill perhaps, but some people wouldn't want to be spotted in anything less.
Based at these offices in London, psychiatrist Dr. Tanmoy Sharma and his COCTEST team are working on developing standardised and efficient ways to pick up the early signs of dementia and Alzheimer's disease. As a result, an automated test for measuring brain function is now available online worldwide. The computerised test is designed to provide baseline measure for brain function to pick up signs of brain damage and so help the early detection and treatment of degenerative conditions like Alzheimer's disease. Dr. Tanmoy's aim is for these simple tests to be used in the doctor's surgery for routine screening for brain impairment, just as people go to have their blood pressure or cholesterol checked. The tests are already available in French, German, Spanish and Greek, and versions will soon be on the market in Polish, Czech, Russian and the Scandinavian languages.
And in more news from the UK, the 20th annual survey of British social attitudes has just been completed and released. Based on 50,000 interviews, the survey included questions on race, women's role in society and social spending, with attitudes on these issues changing radically over the last 2 decades. However, the survey showed that in other ways the country has changed little, especially in people's attachment to the motor car and a reluctance to join the European single currency. When the first national study was conducted back in 1983, AIDS had just hit the headlines and the internet was unheard of. Since then, as well as those attitudes already mentioned, there has been a marked rise in expectations of the public services and a growing willingness to pay for further improvements. Researchers also found that one of the survey's most significant discoveries was that university graduates tended to express more liberal views on a whole range of subjects. Britain today is richer, better educated and more technologically advanced than in 1983, but the survey points out how social attitudes can be much slower to change.
It's an annual event and one that has taken place for millions of years. Each year, hundreds of turtles throw all caution to the wind to leave the relative safety of their aquatic environment and laboriously crawl up this South African beach, driven by an ancient urge to reproduce. It's a nocturnal ritual and a spellbinding spectacle, the kind of show that only Mother Nature can pull off. Jeff Gaisford, Communications Manager for KZN Wildlife, the conservation body for South Africa's KwaZulu-Natal province, has seen the spectacle innumerable times, but the sight of a female loggerhead gently dropping her eggs into a hole in the sand is still a special occasion for him. The annual egg laying takes place between October and February, when hundreds of loggerheads and their cousins, the gigantic leatherbacks, come to South Africa's northeast shores under the cover of darkness. They build primitive nests in the sand and deposit their ping-pong ball-sized eggs. Some nest further north on Mozambique's coast and also on Madagascar's beaches. A single female may lay 100 eggs at a time and make the trip 5 times in a season. This is vital for the survival of the species, as scientists estimate only 1 in 1,000 of the hatchlings that will emerge in about 2 months' time will survive to maturity. A turtle's life is fraught with danger. This long stretch of pristine beach north of South Africa's Sodwana Bay, famed for its dive sites, is literally covered at night with aptly named ghost crabs, little white beasts that scuttle in waves before the headlights of Gaisford's 4x4. They are one of many lethal obstacles in a gauntlet that the hatchlings will face when they make their scramble for the seed. Even before they hatch, they may fall prey to honey badgers, jackals and other predators that sniff out the eggs. Once in the water, they will be morsels for many kinds of fish. Even in adulthood, they can wind up as a meal for a large shark. Humanity, of course, is their greatest threat, and in other parts of the world they are preyed upon by human hunters. Habitat destruction is also a factor, but South Africa's stunning northeast coast is protected, and a 40-year research project suggests turtle numbers are on the rise, a rare piece of good environmental news on the marine front. In the 1960s, only about 200 loggerheads were tagged each season, but now the numbers range from 350 to 500. The increase is attributed to night patrols during the breeding season, which has greatly reduced raids on nests and the hunting of turtles for food and traditional medicine. Globally, loggerheads are considered endangered, while leatherbacks are viewed as critically endangered. Even while she lies vulnerable on the beach, the mother is determined to give her offspring at least a fighting chance. Using her hind flippers, she flips sand over the eggs, disguising the nest's location. Task completed, she then turns to make the arduous trip back to the water, where she will be transformed from a ponderous creature in a shell into a thing of speed and graceful agility. And regardless of where she roams, she will always come full circle and return to the sands of her birth. One of the oldest reptilian orders, stretching back 200 million years, turtles have been doing this for a long time, and their activity on the beach suggests they may keep doing so for many years to come.
The fashion world was in Birmingham, England, and business was booming. Not only was Clothes Show Live the place to be for glamour and catwalk displays, it was also the main chance to promote all the many fashion accessory businesses relevant to the modern girl. There were some 400 exhibitors promoting beauty, from the latest makeup colours to the trendiest henna tattoo. However, someone with a more permanent form of style is Catherine Spiller, a bespoke shoe designer who believes her work is a cross between Vivienne Westwood and Manolo Blahnik. She started her business with the help of Prince Charles, the Prince's Trust, and her unique shoes are attracting interest from Europe and beyond. Some of her styles are based on corsetry shapes from the 19th and 20th centuries, and major stores are already expressing keen interest in her work. Danny Pearce, a global handbag merchant, was also impressed and started talking business with Catherine. However, her shoes aren't cheap. They retail from $170 to $600 a pair. In the meantime, accessories dominated at the show, from sunglasses to watches. Organisers predicted that by the time Clothes Show packed up its decorative bag, more than 180,000 people will have attended the exhibition.
We're in the US, and the Waldorf, the Plaza and the Ritz will have to play catch-up if they want to claim the title of New York's most expensive hotel room. The new Mandarin Oriental Hotel in Columbus Circle opened recently with a feng shui-style ribbon-cutting ceremony and boasts a suite with a whopping $12,595 Nike price tag. That beats out the Ritz-Carlton by almost $100 as the costliest night to be spent in the Big Apple. The Mandarin Star's presidential suite, set to open to the public soon, includes a portable phone system, Asian-themed art worth almost $1 million, a full kitchen, and a formal dining room and living room with a high-definition flat-screen LCD televisions. There's even a baby grand piano in the living room. The exotic wood-panelled suite comes complete with high-tech surround sound and entertainment system, wet bar, office and media room, and French marbled foyer floors, and commands majestic views of Central Park and the Hudson River. The master bedroom is luxurious and very, very comfortable. And there's another flat screen television to watch while you're in there as well. In the master bathroom is a two-person steam shower together with a deep soaking tub overlooking the park and, yes, yet another flat screen TV. Rudolf Tauscher, the Mandarin Oriental's general manager, said he had a positive outlook on snapping plenty of entertainers, business and government leaders as guests, despite the hefty price tag. He also said it was a coincidence that the room was the most expensive in the city. It just happened to turn out that way.
And finally, if laughter is the best medicine, then doctors in India's western Bombay city are sure going to have a run for their money. The city houses 300 laughter clubs, the maximum number of such institutes in a country that has a total of 500. And on this particular day, it was yet another laughter-filled morning for the city's young and old alike, as hundreds converged for a competition organised to further popularise the idea. Club members say the concept owes its origin to Hasya Yoga, or Yoga of Laughter, which finds mention in ancient Indian scriptures. As well as acting as a stress buster, laughing requires extensive contortions of facial muscles, which helps in improving blood circulation and ligament strengthening. Most members agreed that laughing released tension and stress, and the clubs were also a good reason to get out and about. In fact, doctors across the world are increasingly recognising laughter as an effective alternative therapy for a variety of ailments, including cardiac disorders. In India, the concept started mainly as a meeting excuse for elderly people, but it has grown to be adopted by all.